Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to my channel for another Hot Toys 1/6 scale Netflix series figure unboxing and review. Today, we're taking a look at Wednesday Addams based off her appearance in the Netflix series Wednesday. Now, I got mine at a discount from Pop Collectibles. I've popped a link to their site in the description, along with the discount code Justin's Collection, for 5% off your order if you decide to buy from them. As always, do your own research, make sure you're comfortable before buying. If you're heading down to the description, why not hit that subscribe, bell notification icon, and join button, so you're notified as soon as brand new Netflix content goes live. Okay, so Hot Toys Wednesday Addams was not on my 2025 bingo card. I don't think it's hyperbole to say that nobody was expecting them to make this. Certainly not me. This is a surprise to be sure, but a welcome one. And the turnaround, blisteringly quick, from announcement to release. That could tell us all we need to know in terms of how many people ordered this, because normally it's lower order volume equals smaller batch equals quicker release, but that's just me speculating. As for the box art, it fits the Wednesday vibe beautifully. All the little Easter eggs, the patterns even, the scorpions, and I think that's a Black Dahlia right there, making up the strips top and bottom, metallic silver foil show logo, her name, glossy silhouetted image of Jenna in costume up front, standing in front of the window from her and Enid's room. This video is brought to you by JustinsCollection.shop, the home of the figure first aid kit, as well as other accessories to help your collection be the best it can be. The first aid kit contains multiple tools to help you with maintenance, styling rooted hair, and much more. We also sell crotch grabbers, soft rubber tips to prevent damage, and they're compatible with most modern Hot Toys base molds. Acrylic risers come in multi-packs, they're optically clear, thick and sturdy, and stackable. Check out the link to JustinsCollection.shop in the description. On the side of the box, the little Easter eggs are actually textured. The typewriter, the Nevermore logo, even the skull just above her name. You can also get a closer look at that pattern from the front of the box. It is a seriously very good to look at box. It's not just the color and the patterns and the little symbols and whatnot. It's also this gritty texture they've printed absolutely everywhere. Around the back, a raven, thing, and straight through the middle, warnings, legal information, and Hot Toy store locations. Wait, why are we still here? Usually that works. Let me try something. There we go, that did the trick. Underneath the slip cover, an open window showcasing Wednesday, thing, and all of the accessories inside the box. I like that on the side we've got this strip with her name, the same pattern from the slipcover, but Thing is just casually walking along this purple strip. And finally, some figure photography, a nice large format image of the figure herself on the back of the box. I'd love to say that this is one I've been absolutely dying for, that I've been waiting years for them to make a Jenna Ortega Wednesday Addams in 1/6 scale. But like I said a moment ago, I never thought this was even going to happen. So getting it is more of a nice bonus rather than something that I have been counting down the days to pop on my shelf. First in-hand impressions for Hot Toys Wednesday Addams. So far so good. Extremely lightweight body, but I'm digging the head sculpt and the crisp tailoring. What we're going to do now is get all of her accessories laid out in the light box and take a closer look at everything she comes with. Starting off with the display base first. Usually when we get this tall, circular, centerpiece style base mold, it means that we're not going to see a line from the movie or TV series that the figure that comes with the base is from. In Wednesday's case, leaving it at Wednesday, being the only figure they make from the show, I get it. Would I love an Enid? Of course. Would I like other characters from the show? Sure, why not? But I understand if they don't give us more figures. Now, you might have thought that a base for Wednesday would be black by default, but her outfit already is quite dark, so going with a lighter grey for the edge of the base just introduces some contrast. And we've got a black nameplate anyway, with some glossy text up front and a little bit of purple at the bottom. Textured base topper, and a height adjustable waist clamp. That's offset. Why? Why is this not in the middle? It's driving my OCD crazy. You could argue it's for the cello pose, but that's what the chair is for. You wouldn't need the waist clamp if she's sitting on the chair. I wouldn't think, but if you know why this is offset, please tell me down in the comments. Oh no, the umbrella is just serviceable enough for it to be okay. It's sculpted plastic. Why is this not fabric? There's no texture to it. It's completely smooth. It's devoid of detail. There's some glossy paint for the struts. The middle rod is die cast. Then we've got some more glossy paint for the handle, but you can't collapse it. Oh, and some silver up top. This is so heavy. Wednesday isn't very heavy. Getting her to stand up while holding this without using the base will be very challenging. I don't think this is a new chair sculpt. It looks like the one that's normally silver. We got it with Joker from Suicide Squad, and I think DX11 came with this chair as well. This time it's matte black for the bits that Wednesday would sit on, and a satin finish black for what would be the metal bits. All plastic though. Foam pads on the underside so it won't scratch up the base or your shelf if you've got her sitting on this. Now we're getting into the good stuff. She comes with some killer accessories, not the umbrella, but the rest of it. The cello, shiny metallic silver paint. You've got this that would adjust the strut at the bottom. It's all static, of course. The fact that the knobs up top look like they've been turned as though this has been tuned. The strings are real strings, and it's hollow on the inside. There's no wood grain to it. There's some subtle speckling on the surface that's part of the finish. This looks relatively show accurate to me. Then the bow, it's a separate top and bottom piece, but it's not string, it's some kind of PVC, I think. For some of her smaller accessories, the tracker, you can rotate it forward and back, but the antenna and this knob up front, they're plastic, so do be careful when you're handling this. The screen, my favorite detail about this piece. It's printed underneath this translucent plastic outer layer. It gives it some depth, and there's a little bit of magnification going on. And the crystal ball is great. There's a bluish purple tint to it. You can store it inside this box, which opens up. Then you can close the lid. Now you've got it neatly stored inside. Technically, the backpack is functional, so you could store some of her extra hands inside of it if you've got this on her back. But opening it up, you have to unthread these straps through the real metal buckles, and I think this is made of pleather, so doing that too many times, you will start to chew away at the material, so maybe just store the hands elsewhere because you wouldn't want to ruin the look of this backpack. You all know me, I love my 1/6 scale printed books, and this is no exception. Different detail from front to back, and every single page is printed. Not to mention how dirty and grimy and old the pages look inside of it. Even the edges are fully detailed. Unfortunately, it's the same printing on all of the sets of pages, but then again, maybe they just didn't have access to the assets, the original book, the prop from the show. Thing is hands down, yes, pun intended, my favorite accessory of this set. And that's saying something because she comes with a great array of stuff. The stitching, the skin texture, the skin tone. It looks dead and lifeless and pale. The gross fingernails. There's wrinkling. And they're magnetic. This one has a stand so you can pop it on Wednesday's shoulder, but the other ones, you don't need a stand for them. Yes, there's a seam up top, but things got seams absolutely everywhere anyway, so that to me is not a deal breaker. I don't feel like I'm making excuses for Thing, but yes, there's seams on the thumbs up version and the snapping finger one as well. Lastly, a full array of hands for Wednesday herself. You can tell there's a difference in terms of skin tone versus Wednesday and Thing. Some shading, painted fingernails, not as much skin texture, vein work, wrinkling, and detail, but Jenna Ortega is quite young, so that checks out. 2 gripping hands, very loose gripping hands, maybe meant to be paired up with the cello and the bow. Fingers splayed out gesturing hands. And the best ones of the set, 2 snapping finger hands. What we're going to do now is get Wednesday herself out here. Standing straight up and down in the light box, no crazy poses or accessories or anything like that. The only thing I've done really is just move her eyes off to one side to add some visual interest. Not that she's lacking in visual interest. The outfit is deceptively complex. It looks simple at first glance. It's this black/grey schoolgirl outfit, right? There's more to it than that. You will see what I mean off the turntable. And the sculpt. It might be a little bit too large on the body. It might come across as though it was designed by a completely separate team to the body. Then when the two bits came together, the head sculpt was 2% too big. You can work with that. In most poses, that is never going to be noticeable. The built-in expression, the moving eyes, the fringe coming down and sitting over her eyebrows, it all just works for Wednesday. Up close and personal, she looks like she is so sick of my shit right now, kicking things off with Wednesday's head sculpt. This is a very impressive sculpt. It's not perfect. I'd say it's maybe an 8.5 to a 9 out of 10, but certain things set it over the top for me. Let's discuss. Number one, the line work on the lips. Pronounced, very well sculpted. The skin texture, it's subtle, but it's there. There's this speckling of paint on the surface and sculpted skin texture. The eyeshadow underneath her eyes, the painted eyelashes, the bangs being separate bits of plastic, so they cast this gloomy dark shadow over her forehead, and if you've got her eyes looking up, peering out from under it, the expression just works. But how's the likeness? Can I see Jenna in this head sculpt? Definitely. Not from every angle. Certain angles are stronger than others, and the braids and the bangs and the shadowiness plus the eye position, the expression, all of it is helping sell the likeness. Still, even without all of those things, I think the base sculpt does look like Jenna. But check this out, there's even some skin tone over the part around the back, like that's the scalp poking through as her hair is being pulled taut into these braids. I did not think they would go to that level of detail. The skin tone and skin texture match between the neck and the head sculpt, spot on. The sculpt is slightly height adjustable on the neck connector, but not by much. It's always so hard translating young people's likenesses into 1/6 scale because their heads are smaller, there's less canvas to work with, and less detail to put into the sculpts. You don't have heavy set skin detail like pock marks and wrinkles and crow's feet. Their skin traditionally is a lot smoother, so trying to get that likeness is quite challenging, but with Wednesday, I think Hot Toys did a stellar job. To move the eyes around, first step is to take the head sculpt off, then there's plenty of access inside the sculpt to use your finger if you don't have the tool to hand. I'm curious to see what this sculpt looks like with some side eye, so let's put it back on the body and discuss. Sassy teenager mode activated, head tilt forward, side eye looking up through the fringe. Scratch what I said earlier about looking straight forward with the eyes up. It's gotta be to the side, surely. This is probably one of the only sculpts where you can get away with this eye position, showing this much of the pupils and irises. She's got this dead-eyed stare look, but you could argue that because Jenna famously doesn't blink when she plays Wednesday and she has those visions, that this could work for certain poses. But if she's going to be looking straight forward, it has to be up for me from underneath that fringe. Let's talk about the body and the outfit. Custom body specific to this piece. Will they reuse it for more versions of Wednesday? I don't think so. I believe this is a one and done. The outfit. The material is so thin. There's this screen printed or dye sublimation printed pattern on the jacket. The Nevermore pocket is glued in place. I don't see any stitching. That has to be glue. And the jacket is lined on the inside with this checkered print. It's wired. Faux buttons up front. Thin, lightweight fabric for the sweater underneath it. I believe that's a vest because the arms aren't overly bulky. And the white shirt, the collar tucks underneath the sweater, plus the tie is locked in place. That's a real knot. There's enough excess fabric for the cuffs for the sleeves. They come out underneath the sleeves for her jacket. That is show accurate. Then the skirt is pre-crimped for you. There's a pattern on it. It's not wired, but I feel it doesn't need to be. She's got black stockings on. They're skin tight. And there's no ugliness visible for the ankles. That looks very realistic. There's big chonky boots down below. There's a gloss paint up top, sculpted laces, and of course, visible matte painted sculpted tread. Just one more thing, then we can move on. I am so sorry. I don't know what's wrong with me today. You can pop thing on her shoulder. There's a strong magnet on both sides. You could even have two things there if you wanted. And because it's a magnetic connection, you can rotate thing around. This one requires the stand to be attached to thing first. There's still some movement, but not as much as the other gestures for thing. For a quick side-by-side comparison, I really didn't know who to compare Wednesday to because I don't have any horror figures in my collection that would make sense next to her. So I lent into the Tim Burton connection and grabbed 89 Batman. As you can see, DX09 Michael Keaton in the cape and cowl is significantly taller than Wednesday Addams. Going over articulation, starting off with Wednesday's head sculpt. The pigtails will get in the way a little, but they're soft enough, they shouldn't cause us any massive issues. Double ball peg inside the rubbery neck, looking forward to there and springing back a bit. Looking up to there, heaps of range. It gets a little bit gappy on the sides though. Swivel and tons of pivot side to side. Arms will go up on soft ratchets at the shoulders the full way, pretty much. Going completely flush down by her sides, forward and back on soft ratchets as well, then a butterfly joint at the shoulder that hinges up and down. Swivel at the bicep, double bend at the elbow going past 90 on soft ratchets, then for the wrist peg, it's a hinge and swivel. Torso crunching forward to there, more restricted than I was expecting. Going back to there, about as far as forward, swivel, and some pivot side to side. Being mindful of the skirt, legs will go forward to there on soft ratchets, going out to there on clickier ratchets, swivel at the upper thigh. Double bend at the knee, once again soft ratchets, going past 90. Then a hinge and swivel for the ankles, good for forward and back, rotation, as well as ankle tilt because it's plugged into the foot at an angle. Moving on to the 3 cool and 3 annoying things. The first annoying thing is what is going on with this display base. I love the look of it. The circular centerpiece style base mold is perfect for a one-off style figure like this. But why is the crotch grabber arm offset? And why is it not a crotch grabber? It's a waist clamp. Wednesday's wearing a skirt. They could have gone with a lower cut crotch grabber arm and something that inserted underneath the skirt that locked her in place without having to rely on something that's visible clamping around her body over her outfit. The second annoying thing, I am by no means a cellist, but even I know that this hand gesture for holding onto the cello bow isn't accurate. Not to mention, because of how loose the grip is, it sort of just falls out of her hand anyway. The third annoying thing, don't get me wrong, I like the idea of giving Wednesday an umbrella in 1/6 scale, but not one that's made out of this thick, heavy-duty sculpted plastic. This should have been a functional, collapsible 1/6 scale umbrella. We've seen plenty of other companies do that. Why not Hot Toys? Because this is so thick, it's overly heavy, and Wednesday isn't, so it makes her pretty top-heavy when you've got her pose with it. The first cool thing, one of my all-time favorite Hot Toys gimmicks. Thing. Beautifully sculpted, well-painted, multiple gestures, magnetic, and you can rotate Thing around, have him pointing in different directions. I don't know which version of Thing I'm going to go with on Wednesday's shoulder long term yet, but if you've got a favorite, just let me know down in the comments. The second cool thing is the tailoring, how tight everything sits to the body, the wired jacket, the fact that they had to thin everything out because they went with a smaller frame custom body for Wednesday. This cannot have been easy to achieve, but they made it look easy. The third cool thing is the array of accessories, not just the amount of stuff and the detail on the bits and pieces, those two things are impressive in their own right, but the variety. No two accessories, except for the multiple versions of Thing, serve the same purpose. They're so scene and episode specific, they open up so many possibilities when it comes to what you can do with Wednesday pose-wise on the shelf. Wrapping up on Hot Toys Wednesday Addams, a sentence I never thought I would be saying, but here we are, and there she is. One of the surprise highlights for me of the year so far: likeness, proportions, tailoring, accessories, ticks across the board. She's not perfect, likeness isn't there from every angle, and the head sculpt might be a hair too big on the body, but for the most part, they were firing on all cylinders when they decided to produce this. Like I said earlier, nobody was expecting them to make this figure, but they did, and they delivered. They could have, because this is the only 1/6 scale Wednesday Addams made by a company in an officially licensed capacity, cheaped out, but they did not do that. If you want Wednesday for your shelf, you better grab her, because I highly doubt we are going to get another version of Jenna as Wednesday by Hot Toys ever again. We've been asking for them to do different, unique stuff, and this is it right here. Not something from a superhero film, not something from Star Wars. Different, out there, and she will stand out on the shelf. Now, I got mine at a discount from Pop Collectibles. I've popped a link to their site in the description, along with the discount code Justin's Collection, for 5% off your order if you decide to buy from them. As always, do your own research, make sure you're comfortable before buying. You're heading down to the description? Why not hit that subscribe, bell notification icon, and join button if you like the sound of seeing your name in the end credits of my reviews. Like, comment, and subscribe. We'll catch you in the next video.